Farmer Nicole here, and I am out in the chicken pasture. You can see the dogs down toward the end of the pasture. That's Cleopatra and Amadeus. They saw something, so they went barking and running down toward the end of the pasture. I'm not sure what they saw or what they smelled, but they're clear about whatever it was. They were not happy. When they see anything, hear anything, smell anything, or see anything aerial as far as predators, they go running around and barking. And obviously they're deterrent dogs. They're defense dogs more than they are offense dogs. Their goal, primary or predominant responsibility is for them to get something away from whatever they're responsible for. And so for those of you who have asked, well, do they just run out and kill something? No, not necessarily. They will defend whatever they need to, and if a kill occurs on a coyote or bobcat or something like that, then it'll happen, but not usually. The majority of the time when these Maremmas or all of the Livestock Guardian dogs, depending on region of course, and depending on the predator load and whether you've got one dog, two dogs, that type of thing, all goes into play, so keep that in mind. But given the fact that these Maremmas are here on the property and there's 4 of them, plus a German Shepherd, we typically don't have predators that come in too far, and if they do, they typically only come in with a almost like they've forgotten the dogs are here. And so in this case they ran down to the other end of the pasture. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what they smelled, but whatever it was they were not happy with. And then Cleo's still over there in between the bees and the ducks and the geese. So that just kind of gives you an idea as to what the dogs will do and why they do it. And their responsibility and their primary function is to deter anything from eating their livestock. And so that's really important to understand. They're not intended to be predators. They're intended to keep the predators away or to run them off. If they need to defend their livestock and it ends up with a situation where the predator doesn't make the, basically dies or in the fight or struggle, then it happens, but not very often. Usually I just end up with the dogs making a lot of noise, running off whatever the predator is. And again, typically around our space, it's bobcats or coyotes. We are fortunate that the panthers in our area typically do not come into our space. And that's for a variety of reasons, simply because we are fully fenced and because we have the dogs. So the panthers are like, whoa, wait, I got to deal with something other than just eating. And so they'll typically go elsewhere. And we have plenty of groves around us, like 25,000 plus groves. And there's Ami enjoying his morning raw egg. And yes, for some of you that have poultry, I know that there's been some things on different posts of how to get your LGDs to stop eating your eggs. In my case, I look at that as a treat for them. I don't have an issue with it. We have several thousand laying hens at any one time, so for our dogs to come out here and eat the eggs does not bother me, nor is it a concern for me. 1, because we have the volume of eggs, but 2, most and more importantly for me, or for us here at Circle C, is the fact that these guardian dogs are actually out in the pasture. So I use this term kind of humorously. If they're out shopping for eggs, that means that they're out in the pastures. They're peeing, they're pooping, they're marking territory, they're keeping an eye on the livestock, they're paying attention to what's going on. When we move the fencing for the ducks and the geese, for example, that are right in front of me, or when we move the houses for the chickens, they come out. They participate with the team when we move them. They're out peeing and marking, which is a good thing. So again, in our case, if our dogs are out eating chicken eggs, it doesn't bother me. So they don't typically get in with the ducks unless they need to, if something else has gotten in there. But they are definitely thumbs up on helping themselves to the eggs in the pasture. And there's Cleo. She's shopping now too. So she just moved a hen off of, I think, where she was laying. So you never know what goes on around here on the farm. And there's the bees.